I was just about to remind you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for taking your most precious asset, your time, to join and welcome Ileka Dingle. She helps women master their mindsets to thrive in business and in their body. She's a certified coach who specializes in NLP. I love it, productivity and mindset. She has been featured on Access Hollywood and hosts Striving to Thriving challenges, as well as mindset and productivity self-care retreats that help participants learn to thrive in these key areas while relaxing and rejuvenating. Who doesn't need that, right? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, where are you joining us from? And I'd love to
I'm doing,
hear where our participants are joining from too.
yes, yes. I am from the DMV area. That's what we call it, DC, Maryland, Virginia. That area. So the East Coast.
Yeah, and so I just love everything mindset, NLP, and
Mhm.
productivity. But before we get there, we need to take care of ourselves, right? So
Yes.
curious how you found this path.
Yeah. So it took a while for me to find this path. So my journey was a different one. About 7 years ago, I was that corporate America woman, like going up the corporate ladder, senior director level at Fortune 500 company and managing a team and just fast paced, just go, 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 go. And I turned around and I realized that number one, I hadn't been spending as much time with my family as I'd like. I have 4 kids, married, that whole thing, and just was not spending that time. On top of that, I'd completely given up on my body. I was well over 300 pounds and just tired all the time, drained, overworked. The story, overwhelmed and completely burnt out. And so with that, I realized something had to change. And so I started with the nourishing my body the right way, moving my body, and really kind of working on changing my mindset. Still hadn't really added in that self-care stuff yet. Right. I was like, ooh, I can do these things, but what is that self-care? Is it just, I mean, I guess I can get a massage. So I get a massage on occasion, right? Once a month, that sort of thing. And I thought, I'm done. I'm doing it. I've got my self-care. And then I realized that massages weren't what filled my cup. I realized that what filled my cup was seeing like playing with my kids, cooking with them and just spending that time with them. So I had to create a lifestyle that allowed me to, I always say, work less, live more, and feel better. That allowed me to essentially create that a schedule and be in a way where I got to be connected with my kids and continue growing my business. By then, I'd become a health and fitness coach and got into mindset and business coaching as well. But it was a long journey before I really started saying, you know what? If I keep on this path of working 14 hours a day, I'm going to be burnt out. And I was burnt out when I said it. So unknowingly. So yeah, the self-care became a huge part of things for me.
What a transformation you've created. So there's so many good things I'd love to unpack in what you just said. First off, it was how long did it really take you to get to that first idea? Like, I am going to leave corporate America. I'm going to start my own business. How long did it take you?
Yeah. So it took me a year to lose the weight. And then my husband and I lost about 120 something plus pounds. At some point, I stopped weighing myself on the higher side.
Well, let's
Um,
just say a year to lose over 100 pounds.
yes,
Like,
yeah,
that is commitment.
it really was, and it was more than just even commitment. It was changing my way of being because
Yeah.
it was deciding that, oh my goodness, I can't live like this anymore. I can't run outside with my kids. I can't, there were things that I just was not able, I wasn't being the mom that I wanted to be. I knew I could be more productive in my day and in my job, even that I wasn't because I wasn't nourishing myself the right way. So it was a
So,
huge transition.
was it like a specific moment that really had you say, I can no longer live this way? Or was it small moments that led up to the
Mhm.
decision to
To
lose the weight?
change. Yeah. It was 3 moments right in a row, actually. It was, and it was all had to do with my kids. The first one was, I was, my son, we were the 4 of us were the 4 of the kids and my husband and I, we were all sitting there and my daughter was really small. She was like 1. And my son came up to me. He's like, Mommy, I want to play this game with you on the floor. But we got to sit on the floor and you're just so fat, so you can't really do it. And he didn't even realize what he said, and he was like 6 or 7 years old, just talking as a kid. And so, oh, my heart sunk. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, so he sees it now. And then, so there was that. I ran upstairs really fast for where I was, ran upstairs and just like broke down. But I didn't show him that I was breaking down because I didn't want him to take it in that he had hurt mommy. So I smiled as I said it. And then I just went upstairs and bawled. Um, and then really it was right in a row. Pretty much the next day we went to the doctor's. I took my daughter to the doctor and she was only a year old. And they said that she was tracking high for her weight or for her age. And I remembered hearing the doctor say that to my mom when I was 8. And so it took me back. And I was like, I'm not gonna, won't be her story. And so then on the way home from the doctor's office, we stopped at Target because that's what moms of 4 do. We go to Target and we just hang out with the kids and it's our thing. I'll be going to Target this afternoon, but we went to Target and while we were there, my 4-year-old at the time like ran off from me. And when he ran, I remember trying to catch him and I couldn't. And someone from behind me had to run past me and catch him. And in that moment, I was like, this is just too much. It was like, and I'm a big firm believer of I tend to get the knowledge in threes. Like it's like, I don't believe it the first time. Second time, it's like, oh, maybe. And then the third time, it's like, see, that's the third time. This is the way that you're supposed to go. And that's exactly what it was. And so once I changed that, I I started, my husband and I had a plan for me to go and become a stay-at-home mom. And when I attempted the stay-at-home mom thing. I really did for like a good month, maybe. And then I was like, why don't I should do a YouTube channel. And my husband like, you should, you've been talking about this for years. I was in a podcast. He was like, you should do a YouTube channel. This would be you. Like, I could see it doing really well. I could see you like sharing what you do. And I was like, what should it be about? And he's like, weight loss. And I was like, okay, I could do that. And I was like, but then, ooh, is anybody going to watch? You get in your head the story, right? Nobody's going to watch me. No one knows no one cares what I have to say. No one cares that I lost weight. And he's like, just do it. So I did it.
So how
And
long did those stories go on? Nobody's gonna watch me. I'm not important.
Mhm. It was probably about a month.
Oh, a
And
month.
then I was like,
Okay.
yeah, it didn't last. Well, what I didn't say is that I had thought 9 years earlier that I should start a YouTube channel. I didn't know what it should be about, but I thought I should start one. So nine
Wow.
years
Okay.
is really how long those stories went.
So God plants the seeds, or whoever you believe
Yeah,
in, is
got it.
that the
Yep.
idea is planted
Mhm.
there for a reason. And
Yep,
it took you 9
exactly.
years.
9 years to actually decide because I didn't know what it was going to be about. And I guess once I lost weight, I was like, I can help people, help other moms, and help other business women, see that they can do it too. And so I did that. And once I did that, I started a weight loss business. And I took what I was doing in corporate to the weight loss, to my own business, right, as an entrepreneur. So I took those 14-hour work days and 12-hour work days right to my own business. And I was like, you know what? In order to make money, I've got to work 24/7. That's just how it works, right? That's what we tell ourselves. Like that's the mindset that we've been given especially in America and especially in America, I'll say. And now many other countries some are starting to get that mindset too, that, in order to make the money, I've got to be working. And so that's what I believed. And it took probably 3 years in my business before I actually realized I don't have to work more to make more. I can actually shift that. And there are several ways to do it. Number one, right? I have a client that I help with this as well, because she reminded me of me. Her story was the same. She brought that corporate America attitude and ideals where she's doing all the things in her business, creating the landing pages, creating the her doing all her social media, doing all, everything, you name it, she's doing it, right? DMing, customer service, financials, and also the mindset of, well, nobody's really going to want to pay for what I have because, I'm not a doctor. She had a health and fitness company as well, right?
Well, isn't that interesting? I love pointing that out, is because we attract in our life people that are mirrors of us.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
And so that's part of my passion of connecting people with their ideal clients, is that whoever we are being is who we're attracting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So at the time, a lot of my my clients that were coming in, I had the weight loss side of my business and I had the health and fitness side or the business coaching side of my business. And so on the business coaching was mostly attracting health and fitness entrepreneurs. So wellness coaches, personal trainers, that sort of thing back then at that time. And as she was growing, now for whatever reason, realtors have been coming in and coaches, which is so funny because I'm like, I'm not in real estate, but there's something that draws it still. But yeah, so what was funny was she was doing all the things in her business, just like I had done, right, years before. And she had the idea that in order to really grow, she had to be a big time influencer or a doctor or something in that space in order to like help people change their health. And so once we replaced that mindset of her doing all the things in the business and also the mindset of I'm not good enough, and replaced it with, hey, you are literally in your zone of genius and the expert in this area. Like, there's not a lot of people who know more about what you're doing than you. And so once she owned that and embraced that, she got to step into her power and her revenue increased. And she also went from working about 80 hours a week to about 25 hours a week. She began speaking at more conferences and speaking on stages. And it changed her business because now it wasn't about feeling like, oh, I've got to do it all and I've got to work 24/7 in order for this thing to grow. It became, I get to attract my clients and I get to step into my confidence and energy that I know what I'm doing. I know how to help people. I can help you. And I'm the one who you need. I'm the one that you want, kind of. So, and her audience came.
So what was that big shift of taking ownership? Because I see this as a big block for people that are just starting out, and especially even entrepreneurs that are transitioning in one area. Like you said, you were doing the nutrition, did you say? Or and then or doing the fitness and then moving to something else. Like any transition, anything you're new at, it's that fear of taking ownership.
Right, exactly. Because it's that fear and that comparison. Well, this person's been doing it for 25 years, so they know more than me. And it's like, that's not 100% true. And they have their clients and you have yours, right? Your clients, the people who are supposed to come to you will come to you. And so in that transition, I actually talked about this on my Instagram recently. I did a quick story on this, how I had a client who came to me and she said, she wanted me to be her mindset coach. At the time, I was barely making six figures. And I knew at the time that she was making multi six figures. And I remember thinking and even saying to her, maybe I'm not the right mindset coach for you because, like I didn't say because you make more than me, but I gave all the excuses, but really it was because you make more than me. And she's like, and I was like, but I can connect you to this coach and that coach, and they can help you because I know they're making all this money. And she was like, I know about those coaches and I could have gone with them, but I wanted to go with you because your energy is drawing me. You have something that I believe can help me. And so once we started working together, And, I have the NLP background, I'm master NLP certified. Once we started working together, her whole business shifted. I didn't realize at the time she had been working in her 10 years, had been working 10, 12-hour days, barely taking vacations. So I was able to help her shift there, and she increased her revenue doing it. So she went from, I think it was like 1.5% increase, or 150% increase, not 1.5, 150% increase on revenue. So it's like looking at that, you get to shift that. Like working more does not equate to making more. You get to work less and still make more money. And it's okay. Like you get to be okay with that. You get to own that and enjoy it. Because why'd you start your business? It was to
Yeah,
help people and it was to enjoy life. If you're not doing either of those, or if you're helping people and not enjoying life, you begin to not enjoy your business either, you know? And if you're enjoying life and your business isn't helping anyone and isn't growing, you don't, you're not enjoying the life as much. You stop enjoying it as much. Like they start to connect. So that's a big piece of it.
absolutely. I mean, the importance of your business supporting your lifestyle versus your lifestyle revolving around the business.
Yes.
And what you said about, how long did it actually take you? I
Mhm.
heard the 9 years plus an additional, I'm not quite sure how many years, but a good amount of time to take ownership of that gift that was inside of you.
Right. Exactly. Because
And
okay.
sometimes like the painful moments are the moments that push us over the edge. But why do we have to wait for those painful moments?
Right. And we don't. I think everyone thinks that they have to. It seems that what happens is when we're at the brink, that's when we finally cry out for help. Please help me. Please help me. I need help. I need someone to help me do this. Right. Meanwhile, if we step into saying, you know what? I don't know everything about everything, and that's okay. And I'm big on speed, right? One of my programs is called an accelerator, right? It's MVP Accelerator. That's one of my flagship programs. And because you can have that speed. And so when we step into something, I'm a firm believer that if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to hire somebody to either show me or do it for me, because that allows me to jump over that obstacle quicker, rather than me trying to figure it out and figuring out and backsliding, figure out, backslide. I want to jump over that hump. I want to keep moving forward. And so
It,
when you connect with someone who knows how to do that already, you've got a chance to move forward.
so is that one of the keys to working less and living more?
Yes, 100%. One of the keys to working less and living more, I've already talked about the nutrition piece. When you nourish yourself in the right way, from fuel, from the nutrition, movement, and self-care, that's obviously the first step. Then getting back to loving what you do. Because like we talked about, when you are living life and not helping people with transformation, or helping people with their transformation, and yet you're working 24/7, most of the time, those long hours aren't necessarily being spent in your zone of genius. Many times, for entrepreneurs who are working 10 and 12-hour days, it's because like eight of those 12 hours are being spent doing web pages, doing all the things, social
Admin.
media posts, admin stuff, exactly. Stuff that you don't enjoy, stuff that's not in your zone of genius, stuff that doesn't like get you amped up and going, right? And so it ends up, when we do more of those things that we don't enjoy, it takes us longer to do it. Like if you're someone who loves posting on social media, like I have a client who is like social media, loves it, right? She can post, done, all in, right? 10 minutes tops, and she's all set. Meanwhile, if I'm posting on social media, it is going to take me an hour to do it, because I'm like, what am I going to write about? What's this going to do? All of these things. And so because there's that difference, it takes me longer to do it than it does her. She loves it. So if she spends her time, she could bang out 10 posts by bulking. She could bang out 10 posts for 2 weeks. It would take me forever to do that. So either I hire someone in to do my social media, or at least get prompts, or I do my social media all in one day. I'm gonna take my most productive hours in my day, and that's when I'm gonna do my social media. And I'm gonna get it done, pretty quickly. And I'm gonna do it all while my mindset is in the social media space. So it's looking at that. And therefore, I got to cut my time doing that aspect of my work and then getting back to doing what I love. Because when you do what you love, the time speeds by, and you're more what's the word? You're more amped up, you're more excited, you're getting things done. Whereas when you're doing the things that you don't really enjoy, it takes forever. That's what those 12-hour days look like. Because have you ever met anyone who's working 12 hours a day and is like, "Ooh, oh man, I love these 12 hours. Is the most amazing 12 hours every 5 days a week, 60 hours a week. That's what I work, and I live for each moment of it." Like, you don't meet those people.
Well, I do want to make a point that I do meet those people.
Do you?
Yeah, because I work with a lot of different people all around the world. And so if you are one of those people, I just want to point out that those people that love working 12-hour days, there is no blame or shame or guilt around that. But typically people that work 60 hours a week or more are doing it because it's a distraction.
Mhm.
It's actually just as like addictive as
Yep.
as drinking or sugar or exercise. Like, we find ourselves in these patterns, which I'm passionate about breaking patterns. And one of the patterns seems like, well, I'm working, so it's good, right? But when you're working so hard at one thing, then you're probably either missing out on other things, or you're covering and masking something that you're not really either feeling like worthy of, that you're not feeling the joy of, whether that's relationships, whether that's life, whether that's even parenting. We can be committed to our work, but there's other things in our life that are missing. Entertainment, joy, health, right? A big one.
Right.
So,
and usually the 12 hours, because you can love what you do, but I'm saying usually in those 12 hours, all 12 hours aren't spent doing what you love. That's what I'm saying.
yes.
So if you got to spend, that's what I was saying. We don't meet anyone where the entire 12 hours is spent like doing everything that they love during those 12 hours. If we could all do that, we would all work 60 hours a week, because why not? Like, I get to do what I love all day long, you know? And so I think we would all love that. That would be absolutely amazing. And it is absolutely amazing. So it's looking at what happens. And I absolutely agree. I love that you said that, Carrie, around many times, because I know that was me, just like me, right? Many times when we're working those 12-hour days or those long, long days, there could be an avoidance of something, or there could be that assumption that we're moving towards something. I have to work 12 hours a day right now, because in order for me to continue to grow, then I've got to get this done. I've got to get that done. It's that mindset. We've been told for years that that's how you grow.
Yeah, so you're actually getting the hits of dopamine and chemicals saying, yes, you're making progress, because you, not necessarily if you're an entrepreneur, you're clocking in, but you start working at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you find it's 8 o'clock at night. And it's a sense false of
the
false
joy.
Of
False sense
joy.
of joy. Yeah, a false sense of joy. Like, oh, I did it all. I checked it off the list. Yeah.
So when you found yourself working 12, 14-hour days, there was something that was falling apart, right?
Yes, of course.
What was that? Your health?
Yeah. It was, no, actually, because even when I was working 12, 14-hour days, it was originally like back when I was in corporate and all that. Yeah. But once I became an entrepreneur and still working those days, I had to get my workout. I had to get my workouts and stuff, because that was going to always be important. That was my business, right? But it was my family. It was that piece of the kids. I talked about this at a conference this week, and I was the MC at a conference, and I spoke about this, how the kids would come in, "Hey, mommy, I need this." And I'm like, "Oh, wait. Let me just finish this." I just got to finish this one thing. And two things are happening. One, I'm teaching my child in that moment that their voice didn't matter, not as much as mommy's computer, or mommy's meeting or whatever was happening. And number two, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, once I get this going, when this thing happens, our family's gonna have so much time together. Like that's what I was thinking. And what I talked about was how, in assuming that if I worked all this time and really built this thing, then we would eventually have time together and we'd be doing all these things. But in the now, I'm missing out on experiences, on joy, on time, on love, on all these things with the kids. And once I realized that, that's when the shift happened. And I was like, no, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way to still continue growing my business and being intimate in my business and continuing to be intimate in my family and helping my family grow and shift. So once I made that shift, it was like life-changing.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, how many people can relate, right? Say yes in the chat if you can relate. I know I definitely have found myself in that moment of being like, no, I just need to do this one more email, or I need to check this one more thing. And the cost that
yes.
is creating for our children, that their voice doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That their time, that they're not important. I mean, just as we make up stories in our head about what is happening, children make up these stories.
Exactly.
That they're not important, that affect them the rest of their lives.
Exactly. The self-worth. Now they're not worthy of mommy's time. That's essentially what I'm teaching, the belief I'm helping to create. And so now one of the things that I do, and I love to give this to other entrepreneurs and even others in corporate America, because guess what? You get to you get to decide what you do even in corporate. So something that I always like to give people is when my kids come in, when I'm in a meeting or anything like that, I'm always like, hey, I'm so excited to be here. My daughter just came in, just give me 1 second. Even if I'm coaching an entire class, my daughter just came in, give me 1 second. Yes, sweetie, what do you need? How can I help you? Thank you so much. No, it's not snack time. Because that's usually what it is, right? Can I have a snack in the middle of, but you know what? Her snack was important to her in that moment. So I want to let her know that is important, and no, I know you're not hungry. You're just getting a snack. You want a snack because your brother wants a snack, but whatever the reason is, right? That's the conversation. So she gets to share what's important for her or share about her day or whatever it is. And I want to leave that space for her to do it, and know that she has the space to do it because what she's saying is important.
Yeah. What a beautiful tip that, I know we have the same mentor, whichever side. I know we have a similar mentor, Shanda Sumter at Heartcore. And, her and Ash, they're both my mentors and I do work for them too, but they make it authentic in the sense of kids come in, we all know that, and it's okay, right? We are all human beings and we can relate to each other even more in those times that there are distractions and there are things that are just as important as serving and connecting with our clients. So I love that you bring that. So
it's so funny. I want to tell you, I actually learned that strategy, learned that from someone else who's in your summit this week, today. Rashana Price is someone who actually taught me that.
She's coming up next. Ago.
Yes, she mentioned it. And I said, oh my goodness, you're so right. And I saw her do it and I was like, that is what I should be doing with my kids, because what I had been doing, because I started working with her a few years ago, what I had been doing is, oh my gosh, I'm on YouTube and they're loud in the background. I'm so sorry, YouTube people. My kids are in the background. I'm so sorry. I kept apologizing. And then one day I'm like, why am I apologizing? I don't need to apologize for my kids. They're people. And everybody on here are people too. They get it. They get that I have kids and they have kids, or they don't have kids, but they get that other people might walk in, and that is life. And when we come from corporate, we were told for so long that everything has to be quiet and
perfect,
because you can't, it's got to be perfect.
A mask on, you have to be X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
But that doesn't relate to people.
Right.
right? People don't relate
Exactly.
to that. And that's
Mhm.
about like how we attract the people that
Yes.
we're meant to serve and work with, is about the values that we bring. So if you're
Yes.
bringing the attention to a child that's in the room,
Exactly.
or
Mhm.
a holiday, something that's important, will
Right.
attract those people that the same things are
Mhm.
important to them.
Yeah. You attract your audience. You attract those like people, you know? Hmm.
Yes. So I would love to go over, you said that you help your clients with schedule. And I see this as a big obstacle, as a common theme with entrepreneurs, and especially newer entrepreneurs. Like, how do I manage my day?
Hmm.
How do I schedule my day?
Yeah. So one thing that I always say is you want to look at what your life looks like. So um, I went from the just scheduling, just, oh my goodness, client needs to talk, or someone wants to have a sales call. Let me just throw anywhere, right? And I went from that to saying, let me schedule in my calendar the things that I need to do, that I get to do in my life, right? So I get to walk my kids to the bus stop, or I get to, be there when they come off of school. So those things are scheduled into my calendar. I get to work out and decide when I'm going to work out and how long and all those things, right? I get to do that. And so I put that into my calendar. And so the way that I always teach to schedule your calendar is schedule your life in there first, and then decide where you want your time to be spent doing things. So I'll give an example. On Tuesdays, I start my day, my work day at noon. Everything before then is like I get up, meditate, visualize my day, do my manifesting, all of those things. And then I move into getting the kids ready and, getting them out the door because I've got 4 kids and they're at elementary, middle, high school. So it's, it's a whole thing, right? And then, I go to the gym, and that is my self-care time. So I go to the gym, I do my workout, and then I go to the steam room or the pool, jacuzzi. I do a whole exfoliating thing in the steam room when I'm finished. Take my shower, I breathe, I relax, I just enjoy my time. And then at 12 is when I sit down and I start my day. So today it was sitting down and being in the summit, right? But that's when I that's when I start my day. And I have Tuesday be a later day. So on Tuesdays, I work, and I actually just talked about this on Instagram. I actually keep my day until about 9 p.m. And my family knows that we communicated in advance. Tuesdays, mommy doesn't cook dinner. Daddy's going to make sure you guys have dinner and all the things, right? Of course, they're going to come in 17 times and ask for snack and ask me what's for dinner anyway, and that's fine. They're going to do it. But daddy manages dinner and all that stuff on Tuesdays. And then what we do is I leave my schedule open later on Tuesdays because that's when I still have clients who work 9 to 5, right? Who work during the day, or maybe they help their clients during the day. So I want to leave that space open so they can have their calls scheduled with me then. And then I also do evening coaching sessions on Tuesday, like group coaching sessions on Tuesday. So that's my later day. Every other day, I'm pretty much done, usually by about 3 o'clock when my oldest comes home, because I want to be there available to them. Every so often, I will, like, especially if I'm speaking at an event at a conference. If I'm speaking at a conference for the weekend, then I'm gonna be gone away from the family. Let's say I leave on Thursday. That Thursday, I'll leave open in the evening to have additional sessions for folks, because whenever my family's around, one of the things I always say, like, this is my mantra: when the kids are around, the computer's down. So unless it's a Tuesday,
Say that again.
I say when the kids are around, the computer's down. Because for me, remember when we started, I talked about what self-care is for me. Like, my cup is filled by spending time with them. So if they're here and I'm sitting here like this the whole time, that's not honoring myself, or them. So that is one thing that I do is, I close up shop when they come in. Yeah. And then we communicate too. If there is something, every so often, I may have a master class or something in the evening. And so I always communicate in advance and let them know what's happening.
I had to write that one down. When the kids are around, the computer is down.
Yeah. Because what I realized I was teaching them when my son said several years ago, hey, mommy, maybe you shouldn't have the computer at the dinner table. That's when I realized what I was teaching them back then, or the phone, typing my social media or whatever. What I realized I was teaching them was nothing's more important than this computer. Not your day, what you're telling me about your day at school, not the paper you need me to sign. None of these things are as important as what's happening on this computer or on this phone. And I didn't want them to, number one, think that of themselves or to treat others like that. So that's where when the kids are around, the computer's down comes in.
Absolutely. I mean, that's if you could take away one thing from this hour, it would be that, or at least I would. So
Yeah.
I know we have some questions here. If you would like to ask personally, you can raise your virtual hand, or I'll just ask the questions for you. So there's one from Peter. If one were to be doing breath work as a job, which is it's a 24-hour-a-day job, just like making a fun comment. Okay, he made a fun comment. All right. Any other questions? So breath work it's a 24-hour job, and connecting with the breath is actually like the easiest self-care, instant self-care connection, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So do you still work with your clients in the sense of nutrition and fitness and exercise?
Yes, because we start off with understanding what their day looks like, what their regimen looks like. And that's why I have my regimen freebie that I'm offering everyone, because we want to look at what does your day look like? And then what does your vision look like for your day? And if neither of those include something around movement and nourishing yourself, then we need to get that in there, because we tend to, I was speaking about this I have a challenge going on right now, and I literally talked about this yesterday in the challenge. We tend to step into a space where we're like, oh, everything's gotten so busy, I'm so overwhelmed. You know what? And the first thing that goes when you're overwhelmed is your movement. So the gym, or even if you were just walking around your neighborhood, all of a sudden you forget that day, or you can't make it this day because a call just stepped over that time. All of those things tend to come up, right? So so it's so important to schedule that in your day. Like when we talk about regimen, I have a VMRR system. It's vision, manage adversity, regimen for success, and results, right? And your vision aligns with that regimen. That regimen aligns with that vision, right? Managing adversity is managing the challenges and things that come up and having the tools, resources, and strategies to do that. But as you create your regimen, it should be aligned to your vision. And your vision is always a healthy you, because you can't do anything without your health. And so we ensure that. One of my favorite things to say is, I don't care what diet or eating lifestyle or whatever you're on. It could be vegan, keto. I love keto. Not everyone does, right? It could be paleo, it could be vegetarian, whatever it is, right? It comes down to eating the things that either walk on the earth or come from the earth or the sea. Like, that is it. If it comes from a factory where somebody is creating it, right? If you look on the back and the nutrition label says 17 different ingredients and you can't pronounce half of them, it's not for you, because our body doesn't want to process it, makes you more tired. Now you're less productive. And so we definitely, so long way of saying yes. All of my programs include nourishing your body in a way that's going to fuel you to be an accelerator.
Yeah, I love that. So if it comes from the earth,
yeah,
say
or
it again.
Walks on the earth.
Walks on the earth, or
comes from
the
earth or the sea. Yep.
Okay, so if you could type that in the chat before you go, I love that. And we do have for free gift, which is amazing, there in the chat, at least if you're in the private Zoom. And I know we're streaming on Facebook too. So if you want to get the freebies, you can join the private Zoom with the link in my bio. And any other ways we can get a hold of you and tell us about your challenge, if it's still going on. We'd love to have the abundance of tools for the
Yes, definitely. So you can always DM me on Instagram, Ileka Falette. or go to my website, ilekafalette.com. And another way I actually have a masterclass coming up called Mindset Over Mess. And MESS, speaking of the nutrition part, stands for moving. The M is an acronym, moving from diet to diet, right? So, I'm vegan this week. No, I'm going to be keto. No, I'm going to do Weight Watchers. I'm going to, all of that, right? The E stands for eating crap. When you're working those long hours, what are you grabbing? Chips, whatever, right? The S is self-sabotage. Many times as we're progressing in business or even in health, we want to backtrack because there's some fear there. What are those obstacles in the way? And that's what we're discussing in the masterclass. And then the other S is sacrificing health for weight loss. And so many do that with I was that person. For years, I would take everything from Trim Spa to Zenadrin to, whatever, right? I would do anything I could to lose the weight. And I was at the risk of my health. And so that's what we're talking about in Mindset Over Mess Masterclass. And that's just mindsetovermess.com. But you can always DM me on Instagram or even Facebook and find any information.
So I do have to make the correction because I introduced you as without your current last name, Falette.
Yeah, Ileka Falette. Yeah.
Ileka Falette. So feel free to leave all the links to your Instagram in the chat here.
Oh, yes.
And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the connection, for your giving and generosity, for all the change that you're making in the world. It starts with self-care.
Yes, it 100% does. And we don't think about that as moms. A lot of moms don't think about that, especially and I think women in general. But I'm starting to learn from my husband and all his friends that men clearly don't either. Like, it's just a human thing. We do not bring self-care into our lifestyles, and we need to. It's really important.
Yeah, we get to be the best leaders and to create the change and to manifest abundance. Like, if you don't feel like you have enough time to block off your calendar, right, for that half a day for yourself, then where else in your life are you not living in abundance? This is what I really realized in my own journey, is that if I wasn't feeling like I have enough time, it's obviously like a scarcity block for me. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not living into prosperity and abundance and the gift that God has to share with the world, or whatever you believe in.
100%. I'm right there with you. It's denying it. I always say, when we decide to live in scarcity, we're denying our creator, because he didn't create us for scarcity. He created us for abundance.
Yes. Scarcity shows up in tricky ways too. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's the blocks, like the self-sabotage, not having enough time to eat delicious meals and take care of myself.
Exactly. Absolutely true.
Yeah. So thank you. Your dear friend is coming up next. And, leave the comments in the chat for Ileka, and feel free to stick around. And
yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Carrie. This is amazing. Thank you. So totally aligned. Thank you. This is awesome. So good luck with the rest of the day, and enjoy. And